Our objectives in this lesson are the following. Number one, identify real-world financial applications involving sequences and series. Number two, determine the possible types of sequences and series that could be applied in financial problems and decision-making. Number three, solve real-life financial problems by applying sequences and series. But before this, here is the answer in the extra problem I gave in our previous lesson. Kindly comment down if you got it correct. Now, before we solve financial problems, let's first identify whether a situation follows an arithmetic sequence or geometric sequence. Number one, a savings account contains 10,000 pesos. The account earns 5% interest annually, and the interest is compounded yearly. For the savings account earning 5% compound interest, the money grows by the same percentage every year. So it is geometric. Number two, a company gives its employees a fixed salary increase of 2,000 pesos every year. For the employee's salary increase of 2,000 pesos annually, the increase is a fixed amount. So it is arithmetic. Number three, a borrower repays a loan using a payment plan that increases by 500 pesos every month. For the loan repayment plan that increases 500 pesos every month, the change is a fixed amount. So it is arithmetic. Number four, Lara starts a savings challenge by saving 200 pesos during the first week and adding 50 pesos more than the previous week's amount. For Lara's savings challenge, she adds 50 pesos each week, which is again a constant amount. Therefore, it is arithmetic. Last one, a motorcycle worth 120,000 pesos depreciates by 12% annually. The motorcycle depreciates by 12% annually. Since the value changes by a percentage, it is geometric. Remember, if the amount changes by the same amount every period, use an arithmetic sequence. Fixed amount means arithmetic. If the amount changes by same percentage every period, use geometric sequence. Fixed percentage means geometric. Now let us define some terms in financial mathematics. The first term is appreciation. Appreciation refers to an increase in the value of an asset over time. So examples include land, houses, and investments. Let's take a look at this example. A property owner purchased a piece of land for 500,000 pesos. The value of the land increases by 8% every year. Increases, that is appreciation. The second term is depreciation. Depreciation refers to a decrease in value over time. Vehicles, gadgets, and equipment commonly depreciate because of wear and tear or technological changes. Let's take a look at this example. A car originally purchased for 800,000 pesos decreases in value to 500,000 pesos after several years of use. Since appreciation and depreciation involve percentages, they are usually modeled using geometric sequences. Let's have some more. Next, let us distinguish between simple interest and later compound interest. So, simple interest is calculated only on the original principal amount. Example, if 10,000 pesos is invested at a simple interest rate of 5% per year, the interest earned is based solely on the original 10,000 pesos. Compound interest is different. It is calculated on both the principal and the previously earned interest. This means your money earns interest on top of interest. Let's have an example. If 10,000 pesos is deposited in a bank account with 5% annual compound interest, interest is earned not only on the original amount but also on the interest previously earned. Because the amount is repeatedly multiplied by a common ratio, compound interest follows a geometric sequence. Some more. Another financial concept is the loan. A loan is money borrowed from a bank or lending institution and repaid over time, usually with interest. Example, a family borrows 1 million pesos from a bank to purchase a house and repays the amount through monthly payments with interest. Another term is mortgage. Mortgage is a special type of loan used to purchase a house or property. The property serves as collateral until the loan is fully paid. Example, a person borrows money from a bank to buy a house. If the borrower fails to pay the loan, the bank may take ownership of the property. Since loan and mortgages typically involve interest rates, they are often modeled using geometric sequences. Okay, next one is the accumulated value. Also called future value is the total amount an investment becomes after a certain period. It includes the original amount and all earned interest. Example, an investment of 100,000 pesos earns 50,000 interest after 5 years. The accumulated value is now 150,000 pesos. Another important term is frequency of conversion. This tells us how many times interest is compounded in 1 year. Compounded annually means once a year. Compounded quarterly means 4 times per year. Let's have an example. If an account earns 5% annual interest compounded quarterly, the frequency of conversion is 4 times per year. The frequency affects how fast money grows. Okay, next we have the conversion period or interest period. This refers to the time between successive interest computations. So if interest is compounded annually, the conversion period is 1 year. If compounded semi-annually, it is 6 months. If compounded quarterly, it is 3 months. If compounded monthly, it is 1 month. When solving compound interest problems, we often count the number of conversion periods rather than the number of years. Remember that, okay? Next, we have the rate. This refers to the annual percentage increase or decrease. So for example, a bank account earning 6% annually has a yearly interest rate of 6%. Next one, the period rate. It is the interest rate applied during one conversion period. For example, if the annual interest rate is 12% compounded monthly, the monthly period rate is 1%. How come? Because 12% divided by 12 is 1%. So the monthly rate is 1%. Next is the time or term. It refers to the length of time money is borrowed or invested. Example, a loan payable within 5 years has a term of 5 years. Always identify these values before solving a financial problem. Let's have example number 1. A condominium unit was purchased for 2 million pesos. The value of the property appreciates by 6% every year. What will be the value of the condominium after 4 years? So the price of the condominium is 2 million pesos. Now let us determine our common ratio. That would be equal to 1 plus the rate. And the given rate here is 6%. Converting this to decimal, this is 0.06. So our common ratio is 1.06. We are asked to determine the value after 4 years, so our n is equal to 4. So we're looking for A sub 4. Since the value increases by a percentage, we use geometric sequence. Let us recall our formula. A sub n is equal to A sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. So meaning we have to determine first our A sub 1, the value of the condominium unit after the first year. To do that, we are going to multiply the price of the condominium unit by our common ratio. And this will give us 2,120,000. Now that we have our A sub 1, substituting this to our formula, our R is 1.06. Our N is 4. So we have 2,120,000 times 1.06 raised to 4 minus 1. And 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. Let's bring out our calculator. Watch closely. So we have 2,120,000 multiplied by, open parenthesis, 1.06, close parenthesis, raised to 3 equals 2,524,953 and 92 hundredths. If you do not have a calculator like this, you can manually input the values in this manner. 2,120,000, press the times button, open parenthesis, 1.06, close parenthesis, press the caret button, and then press 3. This will also give you 2,524,953 and 92 hundredths. This is the value of the condominium after 4 years. Example number 2. Mark's friend lent him 60,000 pesos to help pay for his college expenses. They agreed that Mark would repay 3,000 pesos every month until the amount is fully paid. Out of friendship, no interest is charged. How much will Mark still owe after 10 months? Before we answer this, I advise you to find a friend who will not charge you if you borrow money from him. Okay, so our A sub 1 is 60,000 pesos. Mark would repay 3,000 every month. So this is a fixed amount. So this will be our common difference. So our D is equal to negative 3,000. Negative because the loan amount is decreasing every month. Okay, so after 10 months, our N is equal to 10. So we are actually looking for A sub 10. Notice that the amount decreases by the same amount every month. So it means we're going to use arithmetic sequence. Let us recall our formula. We already have A sub 1, we have N, and we have D. Let us substitute our values with this formula. Let's bring out our calculator. Watch closely. So we have 60,000 plus, open parenthesis, 10 minus 1. Yes, you can input it as is, close parenthesis, negative 3,000. close parenthesis, equals. So we have 33,000. If you don't have a calculator like this one, I suggest you simplify this first. This will be 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 times negative 3,000 is negative 27,000. 60,000 minus 27,000 is 33,000. Same answer. So Mark will still owe 33,000 pesos after 10 months. Let's have a manual verification on this one. On the first month, of course, Mark is still owe his friend 60,000 pesos. Since he is paying 3,000 pesos every month, on the second month, it will just be 57,000. On the third month, it will be 54,000. Down to the 10th month, he is still owes 33,000 pesos. And our answer is correct. Try this. A laptop was purchased for 45,000 pesos in 2020. If its value depreciates by 12% annually, what will be its value in 2026? So the price of the laptop is 45,000 pesos. Let us determine our common ratio. Since this is depreciation, our R would be equal to 1 minus the given rate. The given rate is 12%. Converting this to decimal, 0.12. 1 minus 0.12 is 0.88. Now, from 2020 to 2026, that would be 6 years. So our N is equal to 6. So we're looking for A sub 6. Since the value decreases by a percentage, we use geometric sequence. Let's recall again our formula. Once again, we have to determine first our A sub 1. And to do that, we're going to multiply the price of the laptop to our common ratio. And this is 39,600. Now that we have A sub 1, substitute it to our formula together with our R and our N. 6 minus 1 is equal to 5. Let's bring out our calculator. Watch closely. So we have 39,600 pesos. Open parenthesis 0.88 or 0.88 raised to 5 equals 20,898 and 18 hundredths. Once again, if you do not have this calculator, input it this way and you will arrive with the same answer. So the value of the laptop in 2026 is 20,898 and 18 hundredths. Let us do extra challenge. Jerome starts saving 200 pesos during the first week. He increases his weekly savings by 50 pesos every week. How much money will Jerome save after 40 weeks? So he starts saving at 200 pesos. This will be our A sub 1. Since he is going to increase his saving by 50 pesos every week, 50 pesos is our common difference. D is equal to 50. After 40 weeks, so our N is equal to 40. So we're looking for S sub 40 because we're looking for a total. So here we are going to use arithmetic series. Let's bring out our formula. So we have N, we have A sub 1, and we also have D. Let's substitute our values in our formula. Let's bring out our calculator. Watch closely. So we have the fraction bar 40 divided by 2, and then open parenthesis 2, another parenthesis 200, close parenthesis plus open parenthesis 40 minus 1, close parenthesis open 50, close, and another close as partner of this one. And it will give you 47,000. If you want, you can simplify this. 40 minus 1 is 39. 39 times 50 is 1,950. plus 400 is 2,350 multiplied by 20 is still 47,000. So the amount of money Jerome will save after 40 weeks is 47,000 pesos. For the summary, here are some of the things that we discussed in this lesson. I also included how to determine whether to use an arithmetic or geometric sequence. So if a quantity changes by a fixed amount, you use arithmetic sequence. If a quantity changes by a fixed percentage, you use geometric sequence. I also included some situation and the reason why are you going to use arithmetic or geometric. Appreciation, depreciation, compound interest, loans, and mortgages are commonly modeled by geometric sequences. Savings that increases by a fixed amount often use arithmetic sequences and arithmetic series. Understanding these concepts helps us make better financial decisions regarding savings, investments, loans, and mortgages. Now, it is time to check your understanding. Pause this video for more time. Let us answer. 8,000 pesos is invested in a bank account earning 4% interest compounded semi-annually for 3 years. How much money will be in the account after 3 years? So the principal amount is 8,000 pesos. Now, be careful. Compounded semi-annually. So we have to determine the number of conversion period, our N. Since semi-annually, that is 2 conversions in a year. Times 3 years, so that would be 2 times 3 equal to 6. Now, for the rate, that is 4%, that is 0.04. Since this is compounded semi-annually, we're going to divide our rate by 2. Semi-annually, so 2 conversions. 0.04 divided by 2 is 0.02. So our common ratio would be 1 plus 0.02, and this is 1.02. And we are looking for, after 3 years, are we looking for A sub 3? No, we are looking for A sub 6. Why? Again, because this is compounded semi-annually. Remember earlier, I said what is taken into account is the number of conversion, not the number of years. Since there is a fixed percentage, then we are going to use geometric sequence. Let's recall again our formula. We have to determine first our A sub 1, and that would be 8,000 multiplied by our common ratio. And this will be 8,160. Since we have our A sub 1, we can now substitute it with our formula together with our R and our N, which is 6. Let us bring out our calculator. Watch closely. 8,160. Open parenthesis, 1.02 raised to 6 minus 1. Yes, you can input it that way. Equals 9,009 and 30 hundredths. You may want to simplify this. This is 5 and then encode this in your calculator in this way. You will also arrive with 9,009 and 30 hundredths. This is the amount in the account after 3 years. Gets? If you find this lesson helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment. Share this video to reach more learners and subscribe to support the channel. To help you truly master this topic, here is an extra problem for you to work on. Watch out for my next video lesson where I reveal the answer. Keep practicing, keep learning, and as always, you've got this with Mom's C-Cube. Our next lesson is quantities of different magnitudes, choosing appropriate units.